What is up, YouTube? It is Tati here, and I am back with another YouTube video. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be doing a boho bob. Now, this was my first boho bob I've ever done, and I absolutely loved the way that it turned out on my girl Morgan. And so first, we're just starting off by parting her hair and sectioning her hair off. She's getting the color number 4, and we are doing medium-sized braids today. So hopping straight into it, I'm actually using the edge booster for my edge control today, and I'll tell you guys exactly why as soon as we get deeper into this braid. So I'm actually adding 2 pieces of the synthetic strands until I add in my first curl piece. I added about 3 curly pieces into each braid that I added curls to. And I say that because there are also some braids that I didn't add curls to as well, just so that it's not too much of a full look. I would say the style turned out about like a medium type of fullness when it comes to the curls. So it's basically all preference and what your client wants. But I absolutely love this human hair blend, especially because it's the curls are like pre-stretched. So I noticed that with the pre-stretched and then the non-pre-stretched human blend hair, you're more likely to have flyaways, and this one is less flyaways. But I'm using the edge booster just so that it can be easier to tuck any extra flyaways that may appear. So yeah. Now, when it comes to the length of your boho bob, you definitely want to make sure your client's hair is not too long. And even if it is long, it could be a shorter, like a long, short bob. But if they want like a bob, they need to make sure their hair is not that long. Now, Morgan's hair, her hair was like mid-long. It was probably a couple of inches below her shoulder blade. And so it definitely turned out to be like the perfect length for the boho bob. And for the ends, I just double knotted it and then tied that knot just to make sure it's fully secure. Now, as far as the braiding hair, I'm using 32-inch Expressions hair, and I like to use this inch hair because if they want it shorter, I can stop it at the length that it already stops at, or if I want to add a little bit more length to it, if their hair is longer, I can still be able to add it, and it just gives me more room to be a little bit more versatile with the length of the bob. And like I mentioned before, she's getting medium-sized parts. Now, it doesn't really matter what size parting that you get or that you do, but I recommend doing medium to large only because for the ends, you don't want the ends to be too full because you still want it to give that natural look. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about towards the end, because when I say the ends, I mean when I flexi rod curl the ends or perm rod, whichever you use, but I use flexi rods. But yeah, we'll talk more about that at the end. Alrighty, so we are now at the top. And if you guys didn't know, my medium parts consist of 10 parts across the head. So each part that's at the front, as you can see, I put 3 strands on each braid. And then even on the second row, I was putting like 3 strands on each braid as well. I didn't skip a single braid in the front part, only because I just wanted to make sure it was as full as possible, and better safe than sorry, y'all. Like, I didn't want it to be too sparse. She said she likes, you know, like a medium amount of curls. She didn't want it too full, but she didn't want it too sparse. And so I just tried to add as much as curls as I could, just in case if it looked it sparse, I can be able to cut the curls out, you know. So better to be safe than sorry. But so yeah, another thing that I wanted to mention as you're approaching the front and the top part of her head is that you want to make sure you're adding enough braiding hair and making your braid longer, just so that the ends will even out with the ends at the bottom half of her head. And if you don't make it completely even, that is totally fine, just as long as it's like a U shape, you know. And I'll explain that a little bit more once we get towards cutting the actual bob itself. So yeah, guys, this style is by far the shortest duration. This style takes me about 4.5 to 5 hours to complete. I absolutely love the simplicity of the style and just how classy this style looks. I'm not gonna lie though, it took me a while to put it on my service, just because I get really leery when it comes to new hairstyles, and I just want to make sure it's good quality and everything. But definitely when she wore this style and I seen how it aged, it definitely was good quality. And it may even last you longer if you use human hair instead of the human hair instead of the human blend. This is actually the cheapest style on my service list right now, aside from the large knotless box braids. After the large knotless box braids, this will be the cheapest style that I have on there, just because the duration of it doesn't take too long. So when somebody books a boho bob, I swear it's probably one of the most refreshing things, because when I tell you I've been doing these 7 to 8.5 hour styles and I've been tired and my body been hurting, yeah, this is actually very much refreshing. But also it just turns out super cute for the amount of times that it takes too. So it's like, I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alrighty, so now it's time for the finishing touches. What I like to do is I like to gather all of the human blend hair and I like to just pin it up, because I don't like dipping that hair, and you shouldn't dip this hair anyway. Even if it was human hair, I wouldn't dip it, because you also just want to keep the volume. So I use Flexi Rise, and I Flexi Rise about 3 to 4 of the braids. And yeah, here I am dipping it, and now you see me taking them down. And then we are going to get to the cutting process. So when I tell y'all, I used to get so nervous when it comes to cutting this stuff, but like, it's probably one of the most easiest things ever to cut once I tell you this hack that I got from a reel on Instagram. Shout out to whoever that was. But you basically just want to cut your bob into like in an angle. You know what I mean? So you see how like when I get to the front part, it's like shorter, and then at the bottom it's like longer. And as I mentioned before in the beginning of the video, if you remember, it kind of leaves a U shape, you know? So yeah, that's basically all there is to cut that bob, and that's how you get your bob to look. Because once you put all the hair towards the front, it's going to even out and blend out super well. And just to be safe, you definitely want to make sure you're cutting low as you possibly can, and then continuously checking in with your client to see if she wants to go any shorter. But yeah, guys, now I'm just doing her edges. You can see she's a little scared, but I'm like, girl, I'm not going to burn you, I swear. Like, especially with these mini flat irons. But yeah, guys, that is all for this YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you made it to the end, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more content like this. I've just made upload another boho bob video. I'm not gonna lie, because this is a little old, and I definitely want to give an updated tutorial on how I do it. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video.